Hello, Internet peeps, and welcome back to the year. Well, not back. You're here into 2020. Hello. And we are here for Big Trouble Little Podcast Plus. And if you've just seen the new thing, it's new because I'm tired of saying now playing, now watching, and all that stuff. So everything with games, movies, or whatever we want to talk about on the side that is not the main show will be on Big Trouble Little Podcast Plus. And
that was a mess. That took too long. You need to parse that opening down.
Okay, and here is my host.
Hey, I'm Andy. I'm the one who talked. I'm the speaking one.
And
Zach.
And it's Joe Dubs, the one that was talking really long in the intro. But we are here for Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. And pretty much all the other Star Wars. So how you guys want to attack this? Do you guys want to talk about like every Star Wars that we watched before this movie? And I'm not saying give like reviews on like fucking all of them. But like, did you guys watch any Star Wars before you went to see Rise of Skywalker?
Yeah, I've seen them all. No, you mean right before, right?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
I didn't either.
I watched The Last Jedi because I wanted to see if they were gonna retcon almost everything in this movie. I mean, The Last Jedi retcon that movie, and B, I kind of want to do a little compare and contrast and be like, which one was better. But we'll get into that when we talk about it. But after I saw Rise of Skywalker, I did watch all of them again because I did revise my ranking of the Star Wars movies, which we will discuss at the end. So I guess we'll get right into it. I don't know how to attack this, but this felt like two movies in one. Did you get that feeling when you watched this movie?
I think most people did.
Because the movie felt like The Flash. Like every scene had to go really, really fast.
Yeah, in that first half, there were scenes that would last for like a minute or a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then it would cut over to like some entire other place altogether on the other side of the galaxy or further, and go back and then go back somewhere else, and it was kind of rough.
The very beginning of the movie, the first 10 to 15 minutes, I was like, oh no, this movie's going to be a fucking train wreck, because the first 10 to 15 minutes is just like Kylo Ren's doing something, he stabbed a guy, he's got a thing, he's in a ship, he's on his way to Exegol, here's the Alliance, they're doing other stuff, there's some people talking, we're back to Kylo Ren, he's talking, there's a shadow, oh my gosh, it's dark, we're going to go back to what's going on over here, and it's like, fucking slow the fuck down, I'm trying to watch a movie. Luckily, they stop after a while. It's clear that they were like, oh, we didn't like what happened Last Jedi. We need to come up with our own stuff. But shit, fucking slow the hell down. You get whiplash in the first 15 minutes, and it gets better after that. But man, the beginning of the movie is just like, hey, fuck you better keep up.
I don't know why they chose to put Palpatine in the beginning. Like, and I understand. I didn't know, but apparently they did release like the first 15 minutes of the movie before like it hit theaters, and they pretty much showed the scene where Kylo went to Palpatine.
I mean, we already knew he was in it from the trailer.
Yeah, but that's the kind of thing, like, we know we heard him, but we never seen him, kind of thing, because they...
I mean, I get what you're saying, and really, like, if you were writing this movie, the obvious thing seems to be to save him, but I kind of like it better. I like that just right off the bat, they're like, look, Palpatine's in this movie, he's the main bad guy. Okay, now we're going to do everything else.
Here's what I want to bring up about Palpatine, since he was in the beginning of the movie. Is he the original Palpatine, or is he a clone of Palpatine? Because...
I figure he's the original, because if he was a clone, he wouldn't be all fucked up, right? I mean... I'd hear an argument either way, because they don't say, but they say they use like a combination of like Sith magic and technology to bring it back, and he's like big old H.R. Geiger monster now because he's in the thing.
Yeah, because there's theories out there that he's a clone because, you know, the fucking retcon that they used in this movie about Snoke could be like, oh, I cloned Snoke and all that stuff.
Yeah, I like that they've got like extra Snokes in boxes just sitting
Just
around.
a jar full of Snokes.
I laughed at that. It's like, that's stupid.
Kind of is.
I also laughed out loud in the theater when he says powers that some would consider unnatural. I like laughed real obnoxious and people around and he heard me. It was great.
Yeah, but there's like theories out there that he's a clone. But my thing is, I think he's the real guy because
He's a corpse now.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's hooked up to this like life support thing, and he needs. Which, by the way, the motive of what happens at the end, which we'll get to, where he like needs Rey or Kylo so that he could suck their powers into him, and he becomes more powerful and healed up because now Jedis can do healing shit. Weirdly, I don't know.
Hey, the Sith have a power to even stop people from dying, so why not the Jedi?
True. I guess you're right.
They do.
Yeah, they do, it turns out, yeah.
Yeah. I guess another bombshell we could put out there with Palpatine is another retcon for Rian Johnson's Last Jedi is, remember, Rey was a nobody, but now she's a Palpatine. How do you guys feel about that?
Fine. Whatever. Like, everyone else likes it, but I liked it better when she was nobody. I was the only person who did those, so whatever. They can have this one. I'll let Disney and Kathleen Kennedy have this one. That's cool, I guess.
What about you, Zach? What did you think of Palpatine?
When I heard he was going to be in this movie, I was like, oh, okay, I guess. I just thought he was dead. like they already brought him back for like another 3 movies previously, but seeing him again, I couldn't help but enjoy his presence. Ian McDermott just clearly enjoys being Palpatine, and I enjoy Palpatine because he enjoys being evil so much. And as for that whole thing with Rey, I never really bought that explanation in the movie as in Last Jedi that she was nobody. I just thought he was just trying to trick her or something. That's the way I saw it. Like, how would he know for sure like that about her? You know?
I guess that's where Rian Johnson, maybe how Rian Johnson was setting up the Force. Like, there's the Force in everybody.
That's all I was just wondering.
What was that? What?
Sorry.
But like the Rian Johnson's Force was like everybody has it within them, and I guess Rey had a little more power than the rest of the people, and that's where the Mary Sue comes into thing, but also. And I know I argued it last time, Andy, where I was like, that's stupid that, we had this set up with JJ, and then all of a sudden Rian Johnson comes in and says you're nobody. I wish JJ kind of followed up with it somehow. I mean, it would have been 10 times better if Rey, and I know we're jumping around a little bit, but Rey at the end of Rise of Skywalker saying I'm a Skywalker would make a lot more sense than, because you're Palpatine, you're powerful because of that, but because I'm on the good side, I present myself as a Skywalker, which I think is lame, but I digress on that. And I've been hearing a lot of rumors that Kathleen Kennedy said Palpatine was going to be the main villain from the first movie. Then why didn't you put him in, not the first movie, but at least the second movie to kind of
that's complete bullshit. That is that can't be true, because otherwise we would be able to look back and see something. And I think it would be easy enough to make something clever, like something you could look back and watch Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and be like, oh wait, they did foreshadow this. That's really cool. But no, that's bullshit. I don't think they did it. I think they were like, fuck, no one likes Star Wars anymore. We need to bring back more stuff from the old one. People liked Force Awakens, and that was basically just New Hope. So they did.
Yeah, because I don't know. These three movies are probably the most inconsistent movies I ever seen in a trilogy ever.
Yeah, I mean, the originals were all great, and then the prequels all sucked, and these are like, they're all over the place.
But at least with the prequels, they were consistently bad.
Yeah, they all have the same like tone and pacing, and these are clearly like two directors.
Yeah, and hopefully with Kevin Feige, who is supposed to be uh, fixing Star Wars, that maybe he'll put Star Wars on like a roadmap. Uh,
Uh, forgive my ignorance. Who's he? I can't remember.
he pretty much does the Marvel side of things for Disney.
Oh, okay.
So, somebody that actually can execute a plan.
Yes, someone who knows how to make money.
Mm-hmm. But take the and I know I'm kind of steering off a little bit with Kevin Feige, but imagine taking Marvel's formula and putting it into Star Wars. Maybe having these like solo.
That's what they wanted to do.
But they didn't do it, and like they tried to do Solo, and they tried to do Rogue One, but
it was bad. You can't start. It doesn't work as well with Star Wars. With Marvel, they're drawing on decades of written stories and all kinds of lore and interesting stuff. And with Star Wars, they had 6 movies, and then they threw out all the expanded universe stuff, which people will argue for a long time was a mistake. And in this case, it kind of seems like it because now they're trying to write all this new stuff, and it's hit or miss. You gotta I don't know. It doesn't feel established enough.
I think they need to get away from the Skywalkers, the Vaders, and
yes, definitely 110%. I think the best argument for that is the Mandalorian. Mandalorian is 1,000 times better than Rise of Skywalker was.
Mm-hmm. But what kind of annoys me about Mandalorian a little bit, and I've only seen 2 episodes, and I know that it's really, really good, and I guarantee I'll like it because I like Firefly, and this has like a Western sci-fi to it,
like Star Wars.
Yeah. But they introduced this Baby Yoda character, which
the child,
the child, but they have to show something that is like from the old Star Wars. Like, do you really need a Baby Yoda, even though it's not really Yoda?
Well, they needed a MacGuffin, so why not?
I guess.
I mean, what else could it be? The Death Star plans or something?
Or just have a story where there is no Death Star plans, there ain't no Yoda, there ain't
a story with no MacGuffin?
A different MacGuffin that doesn't have to do with the old Star
That's what I'm saying. Like, what MacGuffin? Like, what do you want? What do you want the story to be motivated by? Because, I mean, screenwriting 101, you got to have a MacGuffin. You got to have something that drives the story, something that the characters and the antagonists all want, something that causes conflict. Well, so why not the child? I mean, besides, the child is super popular. It's been in 1,000 billion memes, and they're selling merchandise of it hand over foot.
Yeah, this is something from new Star Wars that people actually like.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
until it dies. Which
I don't know.
Well, punching didn't kill it.
No.
Should punch it harder. I don't know. Back to Rise of Skywalker. I liked Force Awakens, even though it copied A New Hope and all that crap and all that stuff, and a lot of nostalgia. Be like, oh, it's Chewie and Han Solo, like they had their moments and stuff. And I know I said to you guys on Facebook that, like, oh, I went into this movie hating it and then ended up liking it, which I still do. I still think it's a really good, really, really good but fast action movie, which I, enjoyed watching instead of hating.
What, Skywalker?
Yeah, Rise of Skywalker. With JJ,
he was disappointed a little bit when you said that.
JJ disappointed me with this movie, and apparently, have you heard rumors that there's a JJ cut or something like that?
Well, like I was talking about, we talked about this on an old episode. Apparently, there are 3 separate cuts. Now, a bunch of neckbeards on Twitter are hashtagging release the JJ cut. And it's like, guys, no, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
We still don't have the Snyder cut. What makes you think we're going to get the JJ cut?
Yeah, even less likely.
I guess we could talk about what we liked about it. Um,
There were lightsabers. I clapped when I saw them.
yeah.
No, I'm screwing around. Uh, I don't know. I wish they would have explored more when they're on like that asteroid and that what's her name, something Bliss chick is there, and it's like implied that she has a history with Poe, and he used to be a smuggler. That part was fun. I wanted to know more about what was going on there, but it's like they're there for 10 minutes and then they're we're gone, and then they're gone. I love, and I know a lot of people don't like this, but I really like that they stick with the thing where for some reason Rey and Kylo can like talk to each other through the Force, and then now they can pass objects through it. Like one of
Hmm.
my favorite moments from any Star Wars movie is there at the end when she gives him the lightsaber, and then he like shrugs like, "Well, now I gotta kill you," and then he just like whips all those guys' asses. I love that part.
Mm.
That's super great. That's Star Wars. It's crazy space magic and laser sword fights. That's fun, and I liked all the space combat and stuff like that. That was fun.
I think with Kylo, I think he was probably the only character that was consistent on the plans that they were doing with him.
Oh, I should also say that I liked Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren is my favorite character from all three of these movies.
Adam Driver is such a underrated actor.
I think he's starting to get recognition. Wasn't he nominated for Best Actor at the Golden Globes for Marriage Story?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I actually seen half of that movie. I still need to finish that movie. But Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson, fucking amazing. In
Yeah,
that.
he's great. He's great in that. He was great in Killed Don Quixote. He was great in Silence. That's a Martin Scorsese movie.
Mm.
He's just a great actor. I really like him.
Yeah, so like my thing was with him and Kylo Ren. I think he was he's a bad guy and he was gonna make the face turn at the end, which he did, and I think that was set in stone from beginning to end. Uh,
It mirrors what happened with Vader. Like he had a deathbed conversion. I guess Sith, they're allowed to convert back to the Jedi so they don't go to Force hell or
mm.
something at the 11th hour or something.
What I really hated about this movie, and I know I'm going like back and forth like Dr. Jekyll and Hyde and all that stuff, but they tease that Rey is gonna become evil because she's a Palpatine, and had that dumb scene where she like went in this like closet area and like there was an evil Rey and she had fangs and
She has to face the mirror. But no,
yeah.
that's also a classic Star Wars thing. It's like when Luke goes in the tree.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, that's what she's scared of. She's scared of giving in to evil and becoming a Sith herself, especially now that she knows how potentially evil she is. Or does she at that point in the movie? I can't remember.
Yeah, I liked Poe Dameron in this movie, even though uh,
Even
they
though he was a piece of shit in the last movie and they ruined his character.
yeah, but like I really wanted to know if there was any movie that I wanted as a solo movie, not a Han Solo movie, but a solo movie by itself is a Poe Dameron movie because
He has his own comic series. I've heard it's good. I haven't read any of it myself, but I've heard it's pretty decent.
because the thing that he was talking to that Bliss character about, I was like, oh, I want to know what's going on with that and whatever a spice runner is.
He's a smuggler. He smuggles. Han Solo did that.
Yeah. Um, what else did I like?
He was a drug runner. Spice is a recreational drug in Star Wars.
Is it? Is that true?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Interesting fact.
Well, there you go.
I'll tell you what I liked and then quickly didn't like when C3PO had to get his memory wiped so that he could translate a fucking dagger. I kind of like the idea that they were going to go with where he was wipe out his memory and he's going to have to start all over again, getting to know everybody. I wish they just didn't bring him back. Like you think he's gone, but then all of a sudden, like, oh, remember R2D2? He has like a backup of that.
Well, they say that. They say, doesn't R2 back up your memory? And he's like, oh, R2's memory is famously, whatever. But it turns out to be fine. I kind of wish they'd avoided the whole thing entirely. I know that it gave them a reason to go where that little tiny guy was kind of like reprogram him, and they see what's your name and stuff. But I don't know. If they were just going to undo it anyway, what's the point? I guess so. They got that thing in the trailer where he's like, "I'm taking one last look at my friends."
Yeah. Uh, Zach, what did you like about the film? Because there's actually a lot more that I hate about the film than I like about it. But
let's see. I like Babu Frick.
me too. That's
this little old Italian man fixes droids.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, I like the thing that was going on with Poe. Like it was just they tried to jam in some extra backstory. Like, oh, it should have been in another movie or something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they should have done that in the last movie instead of tearing him down or something. I don't know.
He was mansplaining in the last movie. Don't you know that?
I guess. I mean, but what else did I like? Yeah, I like Kylo Ren. He's probably the most consistent character in all three of these movies.
Mm.
You guys keep saying consistent. I think what you mean to say is fun.
Sure. I like him. He's fun. I like his lightsaber. He's cool.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
I like his mask. I like when he busts his mask when he gets called a child and he gets mad.
Yeah, I like that.
And then he puts it back together because he realized he was cooler with it.
Yeah, now he's even cooler still. For some reason, it just glows forever now. I don't get it, but all right.
Yeah, that's not how welding works, guys.
that's how space welding works.
It was just he got a Sith space welder to put it back together.
Yeah, that's right.
Leia, what'd you think about Leia?
I mean, she's kind of barely in it.
Yeah, she wasn't in it enough much to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean,
do you think they did a good job of what they had instead of just CGIing her, even though they did CGI her as a young Leia?
Yeah. Apparently her daughter played her in that scene.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
That's neat.
Yeah, I don't really have a thought either way on her being in the movie, just because, like I said, she didn't really speak that much in it.
Mm-hmm.
I thought her death scene was kind of sad, because it showed R2, like he was like, no, he's like rocking back and forth. He was sad.
Yeah. R2's barely in this movie too.
Yeah.
Of course, he's barely in any of these movies.
A lot of people shit on the whole Leia just like disappearing and stuff. I'm like, what are you supposed to do with a person that died? And like they want to respect her in that way of showing the scenes that they had from the last movie to be in this movie.
If this was Death Stranding, they'd fucking burn her.
They'd have to.
Yeah. But no, I guess because she was apparently a Jedi, she just wasn't like, oh, I'm a Jedi, I'm gonna go out and do Jedi stuff. She faded away like all the others do.
Mm-hmm.
But I liked Luke's appearance in this. I thought he was like, yeah, that's Luke. There he is. He felt more like him that time.
Yeah, and that's another thing that like they retconned, because remember when Rey went to the island where Luke was, like when he got the lightsaber, he just threw it, and in this one, Rey tries to throw the lightsaber, and then he catches it and then gives it back to her. So like,
yeah.
I don't know. The whole even though I didn't really like Last Jedi that much, I kind of wish that both JJ and Rian Johnson and even Disney, I felt this was more of a Disney move where they're like, hey, they really fucking hated Last Jedi, and it's it's struggling for our future movies that we want to do because people are just going to be assholes about that movie. So let's just retcon everything. I don't think this was a JJ idea. I think it was Disney being like, hey, I want you to retcon everything to make the hardcore Star Wars fans happy.
Oh yeah, I mean, definitely no one should kid themselves. It's not like J.J. Abrams sat down and wrote this movie and then directed exactly what he wrote. There's no way that happened.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Because this was terribly retconned. Like I said, I wish both Rian Johnson and JJ sat down together and be like, hey, this is the direction I want to go in. Do you agree? And come up with a plan. Instead, it felt like 3 different movies in 3 different directions.
Yeah, it did.
And it suffered. Um, trying to think, Finn's character, which
He was more like how he was by the end of Force Awakens.
Yeah, I feel like his story meant something in this movie, whereas in Last Jedi, you could have cut him out of the movie and no one would have cared.
mhm.
It was kind of like he reverted back to how he was in the first movie. It's like his arc got rescinded or something.
Yeah, I don't know what Ryan Johnson was trying to do with it in The Last Jedi. I guess trying to have that like Rose and Finn combination. Which
I still say Rose was someone told him Rose had to be in that movie.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know. That character just feels so fucking. I can't find the word.
But I did appreciate that in this movie. There's that scene where they're like, "Hey, are you coming?" And she's like, "No, I'm not in this movie. Bye."
More or less, yeah.
I feel bad for her as an actor who got harassed by idiots on social media.
Yeah, totally.
Who did all that stuff. But at the same time, shame on Disney and JJ for like putting her in this movie and not saying fuck you to those people. You know what I mean? I
What if it would have hurt the movie? Then I think they made the right decision. Like I don't know what they could have done with her that would have been interesting.
mm,
I think that stupidity aside, I think generally speaking, her character was received very lukewarm.
mm,
Just being totally objective about it.
Like even people who aren't like Twitter trolls or whatever were pretty clear on this character is uninteresting. I don't know if you need this character, so they didn't.
all right. Fair enough.
One more thing. I did really like the lightsaber fight Kylo and Rey had on the fucking on the moon of Endor.
Mhm.
I thought that was cool. It was like a cool, like kind of a samurai-ish fight. There's those waves crashing and they're on like a beach kind of thing. Reminded me of that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Did you guys laugh when there was horses, whatever horse-like creatures on top of starship fighters and all that stuff?
It was kind of funny. I thought it was actually kind of clever a little bit because they're like, stop, kill the speeders or some shit. Like they had some way to like depower the speeders or whatever.
Yeah.
They're like, those aren't speeders.
Yep.
I was watching Red Letter Media where Rich Evans brought his like cell phone so he could record himself laugh at every. He was laughing at the scene where you saw the horses on top of the ships.
I was gonna watch that video, the Red Letter Media review of this movie. I really look forward to it, but on purpose, I didn't watch it before we recorded this because I didn't want it to like color my opinion, because they might do that. I had this guy hold those guys' opinions in high regard.
What else? Trying to the Chewbacca thing.
Where he died, but he didn't die.
I know.
Just like when 3PO died, but he didn't die.
Yeah, I know where they were going with.
Just like when Leia died, but then she did die.
Yeah. I gotta say, I was legit almost mad to the point of almost standing up and getting out of the theater.
You mean like when he died, or you mean like when they revealed he was still alive?
When he died, because I was like, oh man, Chewie, that's cool. He's in the movie and stuff because
Of course he is.
He didn't get a big enough role in The Last Jedi because he was like only at the end when he drove the Falcon and all that.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's like stay on the ship, bitch.
Yeah,
he ate a porg.
Yeah, he did.
So I was like, oh, cool.
That's why he's my hero.
Yeah, so I was like, cool. He's getting a part, and then all of a sudden he fucking gets blown out of the sky. Well, he doesn't because there was two ships. But
I have to admit when it showed her accidentally killing him, it looked like that was my Rich Evans moment. I fucking laughed at that. I couldn't help it. I was like, "Are you what? Like, are you fucking serious?" Like, okay.
Yeah, and what'd you think of Rey shooting out fucking like Sith lightning out of her fingertips?
Cool. I don't like that it has become the visual representation of evil or whatever. But okay, whatever. It's interesting.
That gets into like a bigger discussion about like how the Force is and how people do Force things and how it's kind of boring that everybody learns lightning and like, oh, lightning's evil. And
Yeah.
Only red sabers are fucking evil or something.
Yeah, it's really hard not to get bogged down in these like arguments about semantics regarding a fictional
Space
power
magic.
source. Yeah, it's just like they're space wizards, they do space stuff, but then the movies themselves are setting these rules like red equals evil, lightning equals evil, stuff like that. And it's like, all right, I guess I get it. They are. I mean, the Force has always been kind of inconsistent, but I think I don't want to. 2 years ago, we reviewed Last Jedi, and that was one of my biggest sticking points about how that movie had some good points. Is that it made the Force seem like magic again because it had became like video game rules. It's like you have to hit a certain level in Jedi Knight before you could do a certain kind of force push or whatever. And now suddenly it's like they're talking to each other through the force, and there's all this weird like visions and stuff like that. It's space magic again. So I don't know. I like it more when it's ambiguous. I wish it could have been like, oh, you shouldn't be able to use force lightning. Oh, but I can, even though I'm good or something. I don't know. But no, it's like, oh, you're evil.
Yeah, I get what you're saying because I do like the whole you could talk to each other with the Force from like distance.
What did they call them? A dyad in the Force?
Yeah, Force dyad.
Force dyad. That's what it was.
And now Jedi's have the healing power. I think it's cool. I think what I really hated about The Last Jedi was, where everybody has a Force. That was like my main sticking point. It's like, it's kind of lame. I mean, I guess if you're going to have like everybody have the Force, I guess everybody has different levels of the Force.
I mean, yeah, Rey is more powerful in the Force than other Jedi. That's fine. I buy that completely. But I don't know. Keep it ambiguous. I like it to be space wizards. That's what I like Jedi to be.
Speaking of those horse-like creatures, what'd you think of like the people who were like Finn, where they were just like, I don't want to be a stormtrooper anymore, kind of thing?
That makes sense.
Yeah, but
I mean, all armies have deserters. They always have.
Do you think they were forced into this movie, or do you think like they could have been more of a backstory? Because again, going back to like the trilogy, like this had 2 movies in one. I kind of wish they had 4 movies in this. Not a trilogy, obviously. It'd be a 4-movie Star Wars where you had more story about these deserters from the stormtroopers and all that stuff, and then you had a Palpatine story, like where the fuck did Palpatine come from, and then have that big payoff at the end where Rey and Kylo defeat Palpatine. But I don't know. I feel like there's something missing that we could talk about. I did love the whole Kylo versus Rey on the planet. What'd you think of the dozens and dozens upon MacGuffins they put in this movie just to get to the next scene?
What do you mean?
Like
I'm still like the Sith dagger and the fucking weird holocron thing that's a map to take you to Exegol.
Yeah, they want to figure out how to get to Exegol. That's the end goal of the protagonists, I guess.
I'm still confused about that fucking scene where they go to the Endor moon and she has the dagger and somehow she's able to figure out it has like that little thing in it. And then she holds the thing up to like the Death Star wreckage that shouldn't exist.
Yeah, that's weird. I don't understand.
It's there.
So the dagger was forged after the Death Star or
before it?
But it seems like it's like an ancient Sith relic. So did they design part of the Death Star to arbitrarily match ancient Sith architecture? Or
yeah,
I don't know. I don't get it either. Like I just kind of I guess this is what we're doing in this movie, and I just kind of rolled with it.
I just didn't get how she thought it's in there. It's like, well, how the fuck do you know that?
This movie's full of like what kind of moments? Like there's an entire massive fleet on Exegol, and they're all crewed, and they all have Sith troopers and pilots.
Where the fuck did all those people come from?
Yeah, exactly. It's wait, what? What's happening in this movie?
I was telling one of my buddies about this movie. He pretty much refuses to go see it, but he wanted to know what I thought about it, and I tried to tell him everything I could. And it was like this was like the first time in detail I was talking about this movie, and I kind of figured out that it had pacing problems and stuff because it was just a day after we all watched it. And I was having problems remembering things clearly.
Oh no, I walked out of that movie saying, "Well, that had pacing problems." I think I looked right at our friend Danny, and I said, "Well, it was a good movie, but fucking couldn't figure out how fast it was going to go." He agreed.
We all agreed on that 100%. But like, I was having problems recalling like bits of the movie already.
Yeah.
And I was talking about that dagger thing and everything. It's like I said, "Okay, I guess," and he goes, "You sounds like you say okay, I guess a lot in this movie."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "You're right. It pretty much became a meme." Okay, I guess.
Yeah, you do. You say that.
Well, that's why I brought up the whole like there's two movies in this movie. They could have split it up, and it would have made a lot more sense, and probably a good thing for the series. Like it could have paid off where they had two more movies, and then end it.
Yeah, like another example of that is when they reveal Hux as the spy.
Oh my god, that was fucking ball crushingly obvious.
Oh my, yeah. He's like, "I'm the spy," and I'm like,
"Oh, no, duh. We all knew that already."
Whoa. But yeah, it's just like there's no build up. I guess I don't know if you really need build up. I mean, they kind of never really liked each other, but it's like he's kind of like fucking the whole First Order that he's supposed to be apparently devoted to or some shit.
Speaking of stuff that was a little annoying, well, I guess it's because he hates Kylo Ren, not the First Order. But anyway, something that really annoyed me, and I don't know why they would do it when there's like they could hire anyone in the entire planet to voice this character, but no one in like when we left the movie, I was in a car with 3 other guys. None of them noticed it, so maybe I'm just a super weirdo who likes cartoons and voice actors and stuff. But the guy who gives them the information at the beginning of the movie, like, "Oh, this is from a spy. What can we do to repay you? Win the war?" That guy's voiced by Mark Hamill. It's so distracting. I hate it. Like, did you guys notice that or not?
Was that the one that transferred the data to?
Like
R2.
they pull up in the Falcon and they open the thing and he throws them down the information. Later on, the Hux or someone puts his head on the table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But that character was by Mark Hamill, like really obviously, I thought. But I don't know, maybe it's just me because I haven't talked to anyone else who caught it.
No, I didn't catch that either. Usually, I'm pretty good at recognizing voices like that.
It was Mark Hamill. I even looked it up after I got home because all of them said, "Was it?" I didn't notice, and I thought maybe I'm insane, but no, it was him.
I thought he played Babu Frick or something. Just because I heard, and then like I think I mixed stories up or something and thought that he played Babu Frick or whatever.
Oh, maybe if he did, I'm unaware of that one. But no, he voiced that alien at the beginning that gives them the information.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't know.
And with that spy thing, he's like, "I'm the spy," and then the next scene he gets shot by that evil general guy. Like, literally.
Found the spy.
Yeah,
you knew it was obvious too.
Yeah, the general was like, "Look, we all know. We're gonna cut this plot thread out of this movie."
So okay, go.
I don't know. I'm flip flopping on stuff I dislike, stuff I like, because like Zach says, it's so impossible to like remember that everything happened in this movie. This is a silly like fanboy moment. And it's weird because it's fanboying for stuff I'm not a fanboy over because I don't care about most of it. But I thought it was a really nice touch that when Rey is lying there and like, all the Jedi live in you now, and there's all these voices that tell her, "Hey Rey, you can do it. The Force is with you. Come on, girlfriend, you got this." Stuff like that. They actually got like Ian McGregor, Samuel L. Jackson, Liam Neeson. It's all like the actual actors and actresses, including like a bunch of Jedi from the Clone Wars TV show, the Jedi from Rebels, a bunch of cool stuff like that. I was like, "Oh, it's such a nice touch." Like I looked it up later because I wanted to know. But yeah, it's all the actual voice actors for random Jedi from the Clone Wars and that one protagonist from Rebels, and it's super cool. And I guess there was even like a clip from all kinds of the other movies in there.
And Darth Revan apparently.
But it's really cool. I like it.
Here's the thing. My problem with Rey being a Palpatine, not only because it's a retcon, be like, "Oh, you guys called her Mary Sue? Well, guess what? She's a Palpatine, and Palpatine is like the most powerful dude in the universe and all that." I kind of agree with you, Andy, where I kind of would have probably digged the whole she's a nobody. But imagine keeping Palpatine in this trilogy could have still worked with what I'm thinking right now, where Rey is a nobody, but she's like a gem pretty much a Mary Sue, where she's the most powerful person ever, just out of nowhere, because she's special in some way, and Palpatine wants to control her and take that power. And I think that would have had a bigger payoff of having all those Jedi's being like, Rey, you could do this. You know, you had this all along. You're on the light side, and I think that would have been better instead of being like, oh, you're Palpatine. You don't want to be on the dark side because he's bad and all that stuff. I don't know.
I mean, he is bad, and she doesn't want to be on the dark side.
Mm-hmm, but
in the movie's subtle defense.
Mm.
I mean, it's a little. There's absolutely no subtlety in how evil the Sith are in Star Wars, and you could talk about how that's a failing of the storytelling or whatever. But like Star Wars always started as like a blunt as a hammer, the hero's journey, old serials, space Nazis, space samurai kind of thing. Like it was like super broad strokes. Of course, the Sith are going to be like dumb Saturday morning cartoon evil. But yeah, I mean, it seems obvious that she would be like, well, of course I don't want to be Sith. Look at this fucking guy. He's got an H.R. Geiger machine in his back and his fingers are missing. He's evil.
And then he shoots like lightning in the sky and takes like half of the army out.
Hey, some bitch shot my friends down with his lightning fingers.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of that, by the way?
That was almost too far, I thought. I was like, okay, come on, let's settle down.
What was that like CGI crowd that he was like with in that little cave dungeon?
I have no idea. Oh my god, that was the subject of so much speculation between my friends and I, like who all these Sith cultists are, and then they all just like pass out and die when he dies. What? What is happening? Who are these people?
That's all the Sith. All the Sith lived through him. He said that.
I know, but it's still weird and silly. But no, you're right. They did say that, and I already forgot about that. But it's just they all just pass out. Oh no, he's dead. We're dead.
They're all tiny little Palpatines in the crowd.
I was telling, who was I telling this to? I hope it wasn't Muzak, because if so, you'll roll your eyes because of how dumb this is. But I really wish there was a way that they could work it out. And it doesn't make sense because he's actually a Zabrak, and in canon, they come from a specific planet. But it would be neat if Darth Maul was like such a weirdo who could like had so few lines in Phantom Menace. Like he barely talks to people. If it was because like a common or English or whatever they're speaking in Star Wars is like a language he just learned because he was originally from Exegol, and they're all like weirdo, horns, tattooed, scary cultist freaks.
Oh, that would have been kind of cool, actually.
Right? I thought it was too. Like, I was pretty proud of that, but I got some weird faces when I was telling that to some other people. But I thought it would be cool. But it doesn't work out because Zabraks are canon and they have a planet. There's a Zabrak that turns up in Mandalorian to further cement, no, Zabraks are a thing. They're their own thing.
Yeah, and he didn't look weird and shit. He was just like a bald guy with horns.
Right, yeah, he just had a big gun and he's just a bald guy with horns. Oh, okay, Zabrak. Okay, I get it. Plus, Clone Wars. Clone Wars has got Darth Maul comes back and he's got two brothers or some dumb shit.
Mm-hmm.
Do they look weird like him?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the kiss between Rey and Kylo. A lot of people were like pissed about it, but I'm like,
some people were really pissed about it.
Really?
Yeah, because
well, what happens after anyway?
Oh, because he dies.
Yeah, because I was like, we knew this was coming based off of like the shirtless Kylo Ren and how she was acting and all that stuff.
Yeah, she got like moist and didn't want to admit it.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that she's in love with him. She could just be like turned on. I don't mean to like be crass about it, but I mean, you know,
it's too late for that. I said she was moist.
I wish Adam Driver would hold me while I fell asleep. That's all I'm saying.
Dude's jacked apparently.
I laughed a little bit because when Palpatine throws fucking Kylo into like the pit, the blue pit, whatever that was, I was like, I said to myself in my head, I was like, he's gonna be alive. He's gonna come out of that hole. Yeah. And the Kylo came out, and I just cracked up. But
that was another moment. I hammed it up a little bit for the people sitting near me. But when he died, I went, "No, the best character."
Oh, and the Knights of Ren, how they just threw him in there, be like, "Hey guys, remember the Knights of Ren that Luke Skywalker talked about?"
Yeah,
And then they all
remember this
fucking
thing?
died.
Yeah, remember this thing we've been teasing you about for 3 movies? You got blue balls over the Knights of Red? Well, fuck you. And then I just, who cares?
You didn't even get to see him do anything. Like it
Right.
showed when they were on the whatever the fuck that desert planet was, when they captured Chewie. You didn't even get to see him apprehend Chewie. It was
They
just
didn't-
cut away,
yeah.
go back, and they got him. He's in cuffs.
Like, why weren't they with him when he was on that planet looking for the holocron or whatever? Like fighting all these indigenous dudes or whatever. Why weren't they fighting the heroes? Why weren't they doing anything else? I don't know.
I think they're like a punchline now.
Yeah, they kind of are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had medieval weapons. They didn't even have fucking lightsabers.
Yeah, if they were being trained, aren't they the other disciples of Luke Skywalker that Kylo Ren like tempted to the dark side after he turned? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that their backstory?
Yep.
Why don't they have lightsabers?
Because they're knights. Get it?
Because I think it's because of the Sith rule of 2 bullshit or something.
I guess. I mean, Clone Wars threw that out the window.
I know I was reaching, but like I don't. That's the only thing I can possibly think of.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, fair enough. Again, who knows? It's fine. Like I said, at least we got my favorite moment where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you now."
Yeah, he even shrugs. That's
Yeah,
not an exaggeration.
Sorry, boys.
Yeah, and then when they beat Palpatine, and then they get the kiss, and then
She dies.
she dies, he heals, and then he dies, and I'm like,
I think it would have been really funny if, like, you know, he got back up and she died, and then they kept healing each other. It was like a loop. It just keeps repeating. They keep trading life force.
People keep trying to argue with me. Why didn't she just heal him and then they'd both be alive? And I keep trying to say, no, that's not how it was working. It's like he was giving something back to her or whatever.
Here's what I want to know. How did he know how to do that?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Because he's more, it's like, just bear with me. It gets into nerdy Star Wars shit a little bit, but it's like,
Better not start talking about expanding universe shit.
no, I won't.
No?
It's just that you could presume he is more well versed in dark side ability shit,
Yeah.
and it's
Ability
like
some would consider unnatural. Go
unnatural. But he can just all of a sudden heal, and that's traditionally speaking in most other Star Wars stuff that's considered a light side power.
yeah.
on. Sure.
I got 2 more things to talk about, and then we could talk about whatever Star Wars news that we were going to talk about, and then go into our ranking.
I wanted to talk about the Mandalorian, you bitch.
Yeah, we will.
You didn't watch it.
You can talk about it.
I will.
Lando in this
Oh, wait.
movie.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about him. Of course, he was kind of, I won't say he was like a total afterthought, not like fucking Wedge. You get like a 2-second shot of Wedge being like, I got him. And he's gone. It's like,
Guys, all right. If you want to talk about dumb, stupid, I'm a total nerd stuff, not only did I fucking recognize Wedge in this movie, because I really did, I was like, yeah!
I did too. I was like, hey, it's Wedge.
Because Rogue Squadron was my fucking jam as a kid. Like, I recognized the actor and everything just right away. I was really proud of myself.
Yeah, apparently because he's not very mobile, that's why he did like those 2 scenes where he just stepped onto that little craft. And what really bothered me is the line where he says, "Yeah, Leia told me you were coming." Well, why didn't Leia just say, "Hey, I have a friend over there"?
Well, presumably she thought about it after they left or something.
I don't know.
I was just glad he was in it because I like Lando. Lando's a cool character.
Did you guys hear about that story where like they tried to peddle this story that he freaking said that he was gender fluid or something, like an interview for Rise of Skywalker before it came out, and then that ended up being like a huge misunderstanding apparently.
Yeah, wasn't he like saying it like, I don't know, maybe he's this, who fucking cares, or something like that, or the context?
It was like he didn't quite understand. He wasn't up on the terminology, and he was like, yeah, I'm in touch with my feminine side, and I think men should be in touch with their feminine side a little.
Sure.
And then like the weird side of the internet, it has several weird sides to it.
Of course.
Twisted it all around, and they all pushed this story saying that oh god damn it, I forgot the guy's real name. That's really bad of me.
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams. I always remember his name, but I don't this time.
I couldn't remember
look,
Alec Guinness's name earlier, so what kind of filmophile am I?
Okay. Well, they're like, Billy D. Williams came out as gender fluid. This is a huge victory, blah, 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 blah. And then it was like, I think a few days later in another interview, somebody asked him about that. He's like, are you gender fluid? And he's like, what's that? And then they explain it to him, and he's like, oh, no, I didn't say that.
What's this have to do with Star Wars?
I don't know. It was just because you brought up Lando, and I thought that was really funny.
Well, Lando's a cool guy. He can't afraid of anything.
Yeah, I think they asked him that question because of the Solo movie where Lando
The robot
yes.
and all that.
Yeah.
I do know about that.
It was around Solo when that happened. I think we talked about it on the show briefly, maybe. I think it was someone at some point. If it wasn't here, I don't know where it was.
I think I brought it up, and then Andy's actual words was, who cares?
That's something I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. You brought up how he was not very mobile and stuff, and it reminded me of how he was like a confused old man. So,
and then the last thing I want to talk about, which I thought was a nice touch of Kylo Ren's character, but by God, did Harrison Ford look like he didn't give a shit for this part where his hair is all messy and everything?
He doesn't anymore. Harrison Ford hasn't given a shit in like a decade.
But I did get a little teary-eyed when I saw Han Solo, and because I was like, we've been waiting for this for 2 films, and we finally got it. And
that's probably the most emotional part of that movie.
But I don't know what else to talk about. I mean,
I do. I know how to segue. If neither of you has anything else to talk about directly involving Rise of Skywalker, I want to pivot.
Okay.
So, okay. Rise of Skywalker came out. Saw it with all my friends. Super fun. I know you guys saw it too because we just talked about it ad nauseum. It was pretty good. I mean, we're talking about our rankings and everything, and I ranked it not at the bottom, which is a big deal. It's a good enough movie and everything, and that was it for me. Like, okay, I saw a Star Wars movie. That's cool. Not too long after, just before Christmas, I decided to finally give Disney Plus a shot. And I did like the 7-day trial and started watching Mandalorian. And I mean, I already kind of spoiled it because I'm super into that show and I usually don't like TV shows. But that show is so Star Wars and I love it so much that I finished it and now I can't like I finished it and I was like shopping for Star Wars action figures like a child on Amazon because I really wanted a Mandalorian action figure.
I did
and
too.
I was like, man, I want to see more. I started watching Clone Wars. I watched the movie, and now I'm like almost a full season into the actual show. I guess the 7th season or something hits in February. So that's my goal is to get there. Then I'll probably watch Rebels or something. Like when I watched Mandalorian, it like flicked the Star Wars switch in my brain that I turned off when I grew out of it when I was younger. None of the fucking sequels did that. Force Awakens, Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, none of them like, oh man, Star Wars. I'm excited about Star Wars again. I want to read. I was shopping for Star Wars books. Like, I'm thinking about picking up the new Timothy Zahn Thrawn novels because I fucking loved the old ones when I was a kid.
Yes.
But Mandalorian is like so good, and I can say that without talking about plot stuff and spoiling it for you dubs. It's just it's westerns and it's samurai movies and it's got like that lived in gritty. Firefly is a really good way to put it, like a space western. I mean, Star Wars is the best way to put it, but it just feels so much more like Star Wars than the prequels or sequels ever did. And it just like I said, flicked that switch back. It lit that part of my brain back up, and now I'm like excited about Star Wars. I've been watching Clone Wars, which is mediocre, I guess. I really like to talk a long time about how the 2D series done by Genndy Tartakovsky was 1,000 times better, but it's not here or there. I did rewatch that as well, though, because it kicks ass. Mm-hmm. But Mandalorian's great. And, like, Rise of Skywalker was fine. It was a movie I watched, and I enjoyed it while I was sitting there. But I could feel it, like, leaving my brain a week later. Mandalorian is something like, I'm going to rewatch that shit a bunch. I like that series a lot.
Yeah, and I heard the same thing about The Mandalorian, where it's like, this is Star Wars, and that's all I've been hearing. And the first 2 episodes I've seen, I was like, yeah, I agree.
This is the way.
This is the way.
Rise of Skywalker. This whole trilogy is gonna feel like not the prequels because of how bad it was. It's just it happened. When I watched the original trilogy, I will always feel something for that movie and always have memories for it. The prequels, I always have memories of it being consistently bad, and then the new trilogy, I would always have the inconsistency of what it was, and it will never, like you said, when you watch the sequels. I think the only one that I got excited for Star Wars again was Force Awakens because I did buy some of the books after that because I wanted to know some of the backstory. But then after Last Jedi, I fell out of it. And then Rise of Skywalker, I did like it a little bit, but not enough for me to be like, yeah, fucking Star Wars. So,
yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you recommend people to pay money to go to the theater right now to go see it?
Yeah, I do. I mean, if you've seen the other ones, it's worth it. I'm not saying it's not a bad movie. You should go see it.
Mm-hmm. I recommend taking a matinee. I wouldn't pay full price for this, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I agree. I thought coming out of it, it was okay, and I still think that now. It's okay. It's got some problems. It's kind of a mess a little bit. A big, fast-paced mess. But I did have something else I wanted to say about the movie. It was just kind of a random thought I had while I was off for Christmas. I was talking to one of my buddies about the movie. And it was just kind of me coming up with shit off the top of my head, like alternate plot point endings and stuff. What would you have thought if Rey died and Ben couldn't revive her and he was just stuck there like that was it?
I might have liked that better in a way, just because Kylo Ren, Ben Solo was my favorite character. So
because it kind of goes back to what I'm saying, that he doesn't have the capability to do what he apparently did, in my opinion. He wouldn't know how to do that. He spent his whole life, well, not his whole life, I guess, but the rest of his adult life up to that point just learning how to fucking hurt people and kill them.
Yeah, I mean, we think that, but I guess the only criticism I would have for that, and like I think it's cool from a storytelling perspective and because I like the character, but Rey is important for like children, which is a big part of this movie's audience. Like little kids really like Rey. Like they actually did strike a chord with Rey where they didn't with the prequels. And children like that character and like the action figures of her, and little girls like to dress up as Halloween. So I don't think they could get away with doing that just based on like the child audience for Star Wars, which is
yeah, I think you're right about that. That's probably the only thing, because I thought of it like, oh man, it's like, he tried to turn back and it was kind of like it was too late in this case. I couldn't help anybody. Fuck. And then in theory, in my mind, it would be like he would kind of end up like how Luke ended up. I still feel like that felt a little odd, that he just turned into like a weird, bitter hermit. I feel like that would set up Ben to be more like a weird, bitter hermit because he just fucked up so colossally. But I don't know.
It leaves off, I hate to say this, I'm disgusted at myself for thinking this, but it leaves off in a way that I kind of do want to know what happens next, though. Rey's got this weird yellow lightsaber, whatever, who cares? But, like, everything's gone. But Last Jedi establishes that, no, there are still Force-sensitive people who may or may not need guidance in the future. So what's going to happen now?
There's always going to be Force people.
I know, of course, but, like, is there going to be... the Last Jedi came and went, and like the name Rise of Skywalker implies like this is different. We're not doing Jedi anymore. So, like, what happens now? Is Rey gonna like try to train people because she has all the ancient Jedi texts? Is she actually gonna like follow through on being a Jedi trainer? Because I mean, what the fuck does she know besides from those books?
I don't know. Seemed to me like she was following the hermit path. She went to Tatooine to live in a moisture farm.
I didn't think she was going to live there. I thought she was just abandoning the lightsabers there.
Seemed to me like she was going to live there. I mean, even the old lady comes up. Nobody's lived there for a long time.
Oh,
Just like,
that's not what I got out of it. I thought she was going to leave.
to me, it was like she was just getting the fuck out. Like she just wanted to go live somewhere. That's how I took it.
Yeah, I kind of like the whole, her burying the Skywalkers where they came from and all that stuff because I was like, oh, that's a pretty nice thing to do. But then, then I don't know.
That's not where they came from. They came from a weird ship. They came from a med bay on a ship. Remember?
Oh yeah.
The prequels.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, brother.
Oh god. But the whole lightsaber, yellow lightsaber, where everybody nutted like, oh my god, yellow, and I'm like,
they nutted.
Yeah.
I was confused. I was like, wait, what? Did she just make that? I guess she just made it. Okay, I guess. Trademark.
Hey, interesting addendum to actual Star Wars canon and lore, which kind of gives a little extra, like, why is her lightsaber so weird? In the prequel area and in the Clone Wars, they explore this a lot more in the Clone Wars, which I've been watching, which is why I know this dumb, stupid shit. Jedi always construct their lightsaber with crystals from the planet Kyber, I think it's called.
Yeah.
And Kyber is the planet that they turn into Starkiller Base in Force Awakens. Because they needed a whole bunch of lightsaber crystals are what powered part of the Death Star's laser. So similarly, they needed a fuckload of them for the Starkiller base. So they're like, well, fuck, we'll just go to where the lightsaber crystals are and build the base there. It's not like there's any Jedi to stop us because they're all dead. So the Starkiller base in Force Awakens is Kyber, where lightsaber crystals are supposed to come from. So like when Rey builds a new lightsaber, where's this crystal coming from? So yeah, that's an interesting little, like, tiny little layer on that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's all canon. That's still in canon, every bit of it.
Yeah, I kind of hope they don't do another sequel to this.
No, I hope they don't either. I want to see something new. But like I said, there's part of my brain that's like, but what happens next?
Yeah. All right, I guess moving on to some news. Did you want to talk about the supposed next trilogy that it might be the Old Republic that they might be doing?
The High Republic era. As far as I can tell, that just means like the Mid-Republic era, because the prequels take place in the twilight of the Republic era. At least that's what it was called in the expanded universe. I don't fucking know. And there's a lot of Old Republic stuff, specifically Knights of the Old Republic, the MMO, some of the comics, Age of the Sith, stuff like that. So I think it takes place in between those 2 points, as far as I can tell from the name High Republic. Excuse me.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I just want something different. I think it would be pretty cool to do something in that era. I kind of hope they don't mention or something about Skywalker and.
Well, you know why they're going to do this.
I kind of don't, so you're gonna have to tell me.
I will. They are going to make this next trilogy in the era of the High Republic so that everyone's a Jedi or a Sith. There's going to be so many lightsabers, and everyone in the theater is going to leave with moist underwear, and they're going to clap their hands raw because it's just going to be lightsaber fight and evil Sith boys and strong Jedi ladies. I don't know. Who knows? It could be anything, but. And there's going to be like a teenage Yoda, and he's going to be like handsome in a weird short green way. And I don't know, it's going to be all lightsabers all the time. And people are going to be excited about that. And I'm not going to care because it's not the Mandalorian. No, Mandalorian's great. I mean, besides that, and that's really all you can say about that. That's the rumor. That's not even confirmed that it's going to be that. But I've seen that from more than one source, and they might all be pulling from the same source. But other than that, supposedly the Ewan McGregor starring Obi-Wan project is in pre-production. Like, he's still like not against doing it. They're writing scripts or casting or something like that. So if they handle the Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan series with the same amount of care that they handled The Mandalorian, it's going to be awesome. I can't fucking wait for that. That'll be great. And then one more thing just about like peripheral Star Wars stuff. I don't know if it was an interview. I think it was an interview. Recently, Samuel L. Jackson said that he would love to play Mace Windu again. But I think it was just an interview where it was like, hey, do you want to play Mace Windu again? He was like, oh, fuck yeah, motherfucker. I want to be Mace Windu again. So,
And that's how he said it too.
yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure that's how he said it. But it'd be cool. I'd put him in something. That'd be fine.
All right. So I guess we're gonna do ranking. We're not gonna do like how we usually do a ranking, where we all debate like a final ranking.
Oh, that'd be another hour.
Yeah. So I kind of want to do mine first because mine was more controversial. I'll tell you my original list so that Zach could also laugh at me too.
I don't remember my original list. I couldn't figure out how to find it. I should probably just go back and listen to that episode, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. So I'm gonna go from where I had it at the bottom before I added the what do you call it, Rise of Skywalker. So I had Phantom Menace at number 8. I had Last Jedi at number 7. I had Attack of the Clones at number 6. I had Revenge of the Sith at number 5. I had Empire Strikes Back at number 4.
Gag! God damn it, I hate you.
I had Force Awakens at number 3.
Oh, what the fuck?
I had New Hope at number 2, and then my number 1 was Return of the Jedi.
Zach, I don't know if you listened to our episode about Last Jedi 2 years ago, but I wasn't very pleased with his ranking. I can recall very distinctly. I remember some shouting. I blacked out at some points. I woke up and there was blood everywhere.
He said this was supposed to be his last episode of Big Trouble, but
I can't do this
He's not
show.
going to take it fucking seriously.
Oh my god, that's funny.
but I'll give you my revised list since I watched all the movies again, and I'll go from bottom to top again. So, at number 9, I have The Last Jedi. At number 8, I have Attack of the Clones. At number 7, I have Rise of Skywalker. At number 6, I have Phantom Menace.
Is this somewhere I can see it? It's not, is it?
No.
Okay, just making sure.
At number 5, I have Revenge of the Sith. At number 4, I have Force Awakens. At number 3, I have Empire Strikes Back. At number 2, I have New Hope, and still at number 1, Return of the Jedi.
All right. I mean, okay, I guess.
It's still not.
I guess you like teddy bear people. I don't know.
No, fuck Ewoks. I mean, I liked Return of the Jedi just because of the almost heel turn of Luke Skywalker and Vader being like, "No, son, you can't do that," and then he throws Palpatine. And
I mean, there's some strong themes and storytelling in Return of the Jedi, really.
Mm-hmm. And New Hope. I just love New Hope because, God, that was a good movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked it. But Andy, we'll do Zach last since
Z is the last letter in the alphabet.
Yes, correct.
So Andy, what's your list?
Number 9, Attack of the Clones. Number 8, Revenge of the Sith. Number 7, The Force Awakens, my least favorite of the sequels.
Wait, what?
Yep.
Hang on a minute.
Yep, that's how I feel.
You're gonna have to explain this shit later.
Number 6, The Last Jedi. Number 5, The Phantom Menace.
Now you're really gonna have to explain some shit.
A movie I enjoy more than The Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. Number 4, Rise of Skywalker. It was really hard to put it at number 4 because it doesn't feel like a number 4, but fuck, it's better than all those other ones. Number 3, Return of the Jedi. Number 2, A New Hope. And the only number 1 that anyone should ever have, Empire Strikes Back.
You know you didn't like Empire because it was the boringest one.
The boringest one? Yeah.
You should probably get the fuck out of the room right now.
All right, Zach, what is your list?
Okay, start from bottom. Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
Phantom Menace.
Oh.
Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
Rise of Skywalker.
Oh.
Last Jedi.
Last Jedi got before Rise? Really?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Man, we're all over the place. It's a good thing we don't have to debate this.
We're gonna have to have a debate episode after some of this shit. No, but Force Awakens, New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Empire.
Wow. I think Zach is right. I think maybe we have to do a debate episode for a final ranking. But that's our rankings, our personal ones. Every single one is controversial in some way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why's mine controversial?
Last Jedi over Rise Skywalker?
It was yeah, I mean, I could get into it a little bit, but I will say that it was a more interesting movie.
Yes.
I guess I could see that point of view, but
I can't believe I'm hearing it from Zach, but yeah, that's what I've said all along.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, so that is the end of the Skywalker saga.
No, it's not. Hang on a second.
What?
Someone was going to give me the business for my ranking, and I want to defend myself.
Yeah, what the hell's your business with putting fucking Phantom Menace over all that other stuff? I mean, if it's just nostalgia, I'll accept it.
Damn it, that's exactly what I was about to say. It is 110% nostalgia. I haven't rewatched it recently. My friends and I do an event, Star Wars Whiskey Christmas, and it's just everyone's in town because of Christmas, because they got to like hang out with their families. So usually it's Christmas Eve. We all hang out and exchange gifts, which is almost always whiskey, and watch Star Wars movies. And we rewatched Phantom Menace, and like we made fun of it, but man, I had so much fun. And I'm sure the whiskey was a big part of that. I like the Phantom Menace. It's boring as piss. It's boring as fucking week old bread. It's got a ton of plot holes, a ton of problems. It's got the midichlorian speech in it. Man, I like that movie though.
Plus, it had the infamous "Are you an angel?"
Yeah, it sure did.
But
No,
it also
it's
had
stupid.
Darth Maul.
It's stupid. I like it. One of my favorite memes of recent memory came out of that movie, which is Jar Jar Binks has the same enemies as we do, and it's when he looks in that crate and goes, "Uh-oh, big boomers." But it's 100% nostalgia. Like if we were actually going to debate and come and hammer out a Big Trouble in Little Podcast list, I would concede Phantom Menace way down the list. That's my personal list. I like Phantom Menace a lot, and I don't know, I just do. Like I said, I struggled putting Rise of Skywalker at 4, but I would bump it below Phantom Menace. And you know what? If I was in the right mood, I'd bump it below The Last Jedi.
Well, I'm in the right mood for that, so there it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Last Jedi. Well, just one more thing. I know we talked about Last Jedi for more than an hour 2 years ago. Last Jedi, if you could like trim it, there's an excellent movie in there. It's just you got to get rid of the bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, people do fan edits of Phantom Menace and the other prequels. If someone did a fan edit of Last Jedi, I think it would be great.
I think somebody did that already.
Good.
I think they did like the non-Canto Bite fucking cut or some shit.
I mean, you got to cut everything Rose and Finn are doing, and it's got to end at no more First Order, no more Rebellion, no more Jedi, no more Sith. Will you join me? He holds his hand out. Cut to credits. You got to do that.
more General Grievous.
Yeah,
Please.
put more General Grievous in Last Jedi, and we'll speak. I mean, come on. Where's General Grievous?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I put the kibosh on you ending the thing, but he said he was going to give me the business, and I wanted to file my paperwork on that business.
Well, I think we're gonna have a bigger business where, and you know what? I'm gonna save this for a special event in April because there's a big wrestling event in April. It's called WrestleMania, and we are gonna have Star Wars Mania.
Oh, shit.
Well, here, I'm going to put this to you guys then. Between now and then, finish Mandalorian at least. Watch Solo, because one of you hasn't.
Yeah,
And consider, I'm not going to require it, but consider getting into the other series. There's a Clone Wars movie. It's like 2 hours or something, and it's on Disney Plus. Maybe at least that, just so we can beef up the list a bit.
Okay. So keep an eye out. Remember, WrestleMania is in April. So we're gonna have Star Wars Mania. That's what we're gonna call it. Cheesy as fuck, but I'll go with it. All right, guys. If you want to watch more of this Big Trouble Little Podcast Plus, where we do movies and video games or whatever the fuck we want to do, make sure to go to novnetwork.podbean.com and make sure you go to nerdreview.com because we have a new website and a new look. And if you want to get if you don't catch our shows live, which we do on Twitch, Mixer, and also on Facebook Live, or if you don't want to go on Podbean, go to our website because our episodes are in there too. So keep an eye out for that. And the next thing we're going to be doing on Big Trouble Little Podcast Plus is the top 10 of the decade for video games and movies. So keep an eye out for that for next week. But until next time, everybody, you guys have a good night and happy 2020.
Thanks for listening.